Welcome back everyone to yet another screencast. Today we will learn Vuex and deep dive into it. Nevertheless, Vuex from 0 to 1. Vuex is the state management library built and optimized for Vue.js, and that makes it powerful and easy to use with the Vue.js ecosystem. So at first we will learn the basics of Vuex, which includes using the Vue CLI to start a new project that has Vuex up and running in it. Then we will talk about Vuex State, getters, mutations, and how we can use the mutation with an action. Then we will jump into the Vuex module system, which is really awesome for managing your global state. We will learn how we can easily dispatch actions from one module to another, namespacing, and the use of rootState, rootGetters, etc. So throughout this video, I'll try to focus less on directly commenting on mutations. Instead, we will focus more on understanding the concept of module system, because at the end of the day, the module system is what you will be using for a real-world project, so why not learn that at first? We will learn Vuex while we build an example app. No presentation slides or definitions. This is something makes my brain so happy when I start to learn something, and I hope that you enjoy that too. So let's quickly create a new Vue project that has Vuex using the Vue CLI. Now, if you don't have Vue CLI installed in your environment, please do it. Pause the video here and do that first, then continue from here again. So I'll just go to my terminal, and here I will use the Vue CLI, which is Vue, then create, and then the project name. So it could be Vuex from 0 to 1. Now it will ask us to select a preset. Now we want to manually select the features that we want in our setup. So I only want a Vuex, so hit spacebar to select Vuex and then hit return, and then I'll just skip everything right now. So yeah, lint on save, and in dedicated config files, no. Now it's installing all the dependencies for Vue.js. Alright, the setup is done. So now all we have to do is to change the directory to our project, so that is Vuex from 0 to 1, the yarn serve, and when you hit enter or hit return, it will start the dev server. So here I just edited the default Vue.js template. I have changed the CSS and some markup HTML, but other than that, everything including the folder structure are the same. We will now begin by looking at the Vue.js folder structure. So let's go to the source folder, src, and inside that we have assets folder, components folder that should contain all our components. Then we have app component and the main.js file and store.js file. So the Vue CLI have created this store.js file for us. Now let's go to the main.js file. Hypothetically, this is the starting point for our framework, and here we have imported the store. The Vue CLI created this store in a single file, but it doesn't scale. So we will create a new store folder here, and then we will move our store.js file to the store folder, and we will rename it in index.js, and then we have to change the so we have to add a slash here so it know that the file lives in the store folder, and by default it will pick the index.js file. Now let's take a look at the store file. Here we are initializing Vuex, and here we are returning a Vuex store object. The object has a state, mutations, and actions. But I will quickly add getters here because we are also going to talk about getters in this video, and getters are very important. At first, let's talk about the state. This state right here will be the global state for our app, and this state will be managed by Vuex. Now, if we go to the hello world component, as you can see that this message right here is being printed here from the props, and we're passing this props from app component, so from here. To understand how Vuex state works, we will remove these props, and then basically we will get this text from our Vuex state. To do that, at first I will add a new state called message, and I'll simply add this same message in our state, And then we will go to the hello world component and remove the props dependency. And now we will do this store.state.msg, which is our state name, right? Save that, and it still works. To make sure that it works or not, we will change the text, save that, and as you can see that it works just perfectly. Also, now we do not need this props being passed to hello world component anymore, so we will save that. Now you get the idea that how easy it is to actually get the data from Vuex State. We don't have to import anything, everything just being registered in the top level, and we have the access to the Vuex State in our component like this. And also we shouldn't be using store directly in our template. We should be using some kind of computed methods or functions to access this store data, but later on in this video we will see how we can do that. Alright, so now that we get the idea how Vuex State data can be accessed, so to talk about getters, let's add two more new state. One is first name and another one is last name. Think of it that if we have to display the user's full name, we have to interpolate these two state side by side to show their full name. Instead, we can write a new getter function here that we can use in our template. So we will create a new function called full name, and it will accept state in its parameter. And this state is basically the state that Vuex have. Using this state, we can access any of this property. So we can return state.firstName and state.lastName. Now let's see how we can use this getter in our component. So I'll go back to hello world component. Here I'll add some markup. Inside that, we are going to use the getter. So same way we can do that using a store.getters and then our getter name. In this case, it is full name. Save that. And as you can see that we have our full name being displayed here. Now that we know what is a state and getters and how to use them in a component, at this point you might want to ask yourself that all the values in the Vuex State are being hard-coded. How do we change them or add a new data in the Vuex State? Well, the answer is mutations. To update this state, we will write a mutation function, and then we will commit the function from where we want to update the Vuex State. But we are not going to commit mutations directly in the component. Instead, we will write another function inside actions, and then we will dispatch the action from our component that will do the commit to the defined mutations. I know this might be very confusing to you. Forget that for now, and let's concentrate in code. Alright, so now we are going to have a list of friends, and once we click on the add friend button, a random person will be shown in the list. So let's add the state first. It's called friends, and it's going to be a list of people's name. To get random person's name, I will use a module called node random name, which is not related to Vuejs. Just for sake of this tutorial, I will be using that module. You don't have to use that module in your project. Now we will write the mutation function, which will be responsible for adding a new friend. So let's call it add friend. It will receive two parameters. One is the state and another one is the friend. It is basically the payload for this function, and it will update the friends. So that's gonna be our new friend and with all of our existing friends from the state. Now let's write the action that will commit our add friend mutation. Let's call it add friend action. It will take context as the parameter, and then it will commit the mutation, add friend mutation. So context dot commit and our mutation function name, that is add friend. And then we'll pass this some data, so we could call it here. By committing to the mutation function add friend foobar, it will simply call add friend. This state will be passed using this state parameter, and this payload foobar will be passed inside the friend. So instead of just hard coding the name, I will be going to use the random name module. Going to use the random name, so it should return random person's name. Save that, and now that we have our action that will commit add friend with the person name, which is our new friend. So now we'll go back to hello world component and here and render our list of friends from Vuex State. So I'll add some markup, h2 for friends, and then here we would have some unordered list. We will run a loop here, v4 our friend and the index of the current iteration in store.state.friends, and I think I'll have to add the key here, so key is equals to index. Yeah, so now we will just display the friend in the loop. To make sure that it works, I will for now hardcode of name in the state foobar, and it does show here. That means everything is working. Going back to the hello world component, here I'll have to add a new add friend button. So button add friend. We have our add friend button here. Now when we will click on this add friend button, we will dispatch the action that we have written here, which is called add friend action. So let's say on click, I will say click.prevent, so this will prevent the default button behavior. We will dispatch, so store.dispatch and the function name, and let's save it. Click on the add friend, and it does add a new friends into our Vuex list of friends state. All right, so let's recap real quick. When we clicked on this button, it dispatched add friend action, which will call or commit the add friend mutation with a new friend name in its parameter. Finally, the mutation will add the new friend in the Vuex friends state. When it updates this state, it will re-render the hello world component to display all the changes we made. To better understand, we will add a unfriend button besides each person name to delete them as a friend. First thing to do is to write the unfriend mutation button in hello world component. Unfriend. Now we will have to write another mutation and another action so that we can dispatch that action from here, and that will delete the friend from our friends list. So let's write the mutation at first. We will call this unfriend. It's gonna take the state and then the friend index. So it will basically slice out the friend from the list of friends list and then update this state. Now we will write the unfriend action, which will take the context and a payload, which is the index basically. Now it will comment unfriend with the index. Go back to hello world component, and on unfriend button click, we will just simply dispatch this action. So store.dispatch, then we will pass the index, save that, and now if I want to remove this friend, I will simply click on unfriend, and it does. So everything is working just fine, which is great. So now that you know how we can use the actions to commit mutations, and that mutation can update this state. So, and when the state updates, our view components gets a re-render so it can display all the new data. And that takes us to the module system. Although with this above setup using the actions and mutations, you have the power to manage large-scale front-end application using Vuex and with Vue. but it would soon a bit of a mess, and the better alternative is to use module system. According to Vuex, the official documentation for modules, Vuex allows us to divide our store into modules. Each module can contain its own state, mutations, actions, getters, and even nested modules. So it's pretty awesome, right? So here's an example. As you can see, here we have a module A, module B, and here is our stores, and we're registering all the modules inside here, and then we can access the modules using store.state.a. So A means module A. So here basically we are separating required states of a feature using modules, which is great for managing big applications and also very easy for your team to contribute, because team first, right? So in the store directory, we're going to create a new modules directory, and within the modules directory, I'll create a new module called friends.module.js. It will contain a very simple object, and it will export that. So export const friends module, which will have the state, the getters, mutations, and actions. Let's register it by importing it to the store index file. So here I'll import friends module from modules and friends module. Then in the Vuex store, I'll add a new property called modules, and here just provide the module, which is in this case friends module. Save that. Now we will move all the states, mutations, and actions into the friends module. So let's start with the state. We only need the friends state, so I'll cut that and move that into friends module state, like that. Now I will take all the mutations, like that, and then I will be moving all the actions to the friends module. At first, as I am using the random name, so I'll need to import this module here. So now let's go back to Hello World component, and we will be using this friends module state. So store.state.friendsModule.friends, and save that. And to make sure that it still works, I will hard code a new friend name here, foobar. Oops. And as you can see that it works here. That is awesome. And everything else should work just fine from the module. We will enable namespacing for every module. To enable a namespace, we will have to simply add namespaced property to true. So now if I save it, it will no longer work, because now we have to specify the namespace for when we dispatch something. So it's very simple, store dispatch, and we will simply add the module name here and here. Save that, and now if I go to friends and click on add friend, it will work with the namespace. And it's strongly recommended that you will be using the namespace. To better understand module system, I will add another module called alert.module. So this module is responsible for showing status message when we add or remove a friend. And using this alert module, we will learn how to communicate between different modules in Vuex. So let's write the alert module. So export alert. We will begin with namespacing the module. So namespace is true, and state and getters, and then we're gonna have its own mutations and the actions. The alert module will going to have two different state. One is message and another one is the color, and it will have one mutation method called add alert. It will take the state and the alert payload. So this alert parameter is basically the alert message that will be committed by the action from the component. Now we will assign this data. So state.message is equals to alert.message, and then state.color equals to alert.color. Save that. And now we will write our action, and we're going to call this alert action, or maybe simply alert. It will take context and the payloads, the alert payload, right? All right, so now let's commit the add alert mutation. So context.commit add alert, and we will pass the payload, which is alert. So that is pretty much everything for our alert module. Now we need to import this alert module into our Vuex. Let's import it here. Import alert from alert module, and then we will just add this with the module property, just like that. To display the alert, we will simply add some basic markup in our app component. This time, instead of directly accessing store from the template, we will follow best practice and learn how to use the computed method of a component in order to use the store value inside the template. So I'll be writing a computed method here, computed color computed method that will return color, basically the CSS. So color, and let's say now here we will access the store using this $store .state .our module name, which is alert, and then it's color state. Then we will add another computed method here called message, which will basically return the message. So this .store .state .alert, and then message. Oh, we forgot a comma here. Save that. There you go. Now in here above the hello world component, I'll add a h3 and add the message here. So remember, this message is the computed method, and I'll also add the color as the CSS. So style color. Save that. And let's see if it's working or not. I'll add some dummy message. So foobar, and let's say color is red. Save that, and it does work. That is really awesome. Okay, now that the alert module is ready, let's dispatch its alert action when we add or remove a friend from friends module. So go back to friends module, and we need to update the actions. When we dispatch the add friend action, we will also dispatch the alert module's alert action. So our alert message will be and here we are going to dispatch from friends module to alert module. So context dot dispatch, and here we'll say alert. This is the module name and this is the action name. So alert, then alert action, and then we will pass this payload, so which is alert, and finally we have to say root is true. So Vuex know that this alert lives in the root of the friends module, but not inside the friends module own scope. Save that. Now I'll just copy it and paste this for unfriend action. I will change this message removed a friend, and the color is going to be red, and I think that's pretty much it. So now if I go to the app, click on the add friend button, and we should see added a new friend, add another friend, another one. Now I'll remove a friend, just say removed a friend, add a friend, added a friend, remove a friend, removed a friend. So that was all for today. I hope you learned something today. Please let me know if this video was helpful. If it does, then I can come up with similar video formats for more topics. You can reach me at Twitter at RakibTG, and I'll add all this code example in GitHub repository. Link should be available in the video description. So subscribe to my channel if not already. Take care. Bye.